Okay, well, I'm really excited about this week's lesson because we have a fun acoustic lead. I don't do a lot of acoustic lead lessons like this, or it's been a while. And this one's easy to play. I mean, it's easy. I know easy is a relative term, but we're going to make it very logical and easy to follow. A lot of it is just tracing the notes out of chord shapes and, following some scales that you already know and that kind of thing. So we're going to make this easy to follow, and you're going to walk away with some ideas so that you can use these when you're improvising. You can work in fill licks and your own little leads and stuff. That's the goal of this lesson and really all the lessons here. So the jam track this week was provided by my good buddy Quist. That's spelled Quist. He and I have done collaborations on several videos in the past, and I always enjoy working with him because I think he's the best when it comes to jam tracks. And I'm not just saying that to you, Quist, if you're watching this. I really think that you've got the best stuff out there when it comes to really good soulful jam tracks. I'm talking blues and jazz and country and rock, kind of the roots stuff. And he's got a channel here on YouTube. He's also on Spotify. I've got a link to him below, but that's where the jam track comes from this week. I normally write them, but if I ever get the chance to work with one of his, I always take advantage of that. And he reached out to me this week and said, hey, you want to do a collaboration? So yeah, I would love to. So thank you, Quist, to you for providing the jam track. So I've got this lesson split into two parts. In this video, we'll go through the first half. If you'd like to learn the second half, download the tablature, download the MP3 jam track to practice. You can get all of that stuff by going to activemelody.com. Go to the weekly lessons page and doing a search for EP444. All right, so I want to start off and talk about the structure of the song. We're going to talk about the chords that are used, and then we'll jump into how to play everything. When I got this jam track yesterday from Quist, I had no idea what he was going to send me. I never do. We've done several collaborations like this, and I like that. I like the kind of the unknown of what's coming. I heard an acoustic guitar in it, and I thought, maybe I'll do an acoustic guitar for lead, so that's why we're doing that this week. But the first thing that I did was I sat down and I worked out the chords. I always do that, not always, but I try and do that first because then it gives you your parameters. You kind of know what you're working with then, and you can find the chords, visualize them, and find, and be able to play arpeggios and things like that. So this song is played in the key of B. It's actually in B minor. It's a B minor structure. It's a pretty standard minor chord structure with the exception of one chord, which I'll explain in a minute. But it's a B minor as your one chord. So your one chord, you can think of it, we'll think of this like a 1-4-5, but it's a minor one. And then our 4 chord is a minor 4. So our 4 chord is an E minor. So you have a minor 1, which is a B minor, a minor 4, which is an E minor. Then it goes back to your B minor. And then it does your typical minor chord turnaround, which would be to play the 5 chord, but a major 5 or a dominant 7-5. And so what you would typically hear is you'd hear like the F sharp 7 for the 5 chord, and then back to the 1. Or sometimes, like in a song like The Thrill Is Gone, you'll hear they'll go up a half step, so you play the G, and then you go down, so it'd be a G7, down to the F sharp 7, and then back to the 1. That's a typical blues. So if you're writing a minor key blues, you can think of that. Go to your 5 chord, go up a half step, and then bring that down, and then back to the 1. But what Quist did was very clever. Instead of playing the dominant 7 for that half step up, he played the major 7. So he played a G major 7. Different kind of vibe. And then he goes to the F sharp 7. And then back to the 1. So it does create a tension when you play that major 7, but it's a much more subtle tension. I just like the vibe of that. So that's what's going on there. You have the G major 7, then the F sharp 7, which would be your 5 chord, back to your minor 1, which is a B minor. So those are the chords that are used. Let me go ahead and play now the first little part that we're going to learn here so that you can get it in your ear, and then we'll break it down. Okay, so the first thing that I did there was really just trace the chords. And I do that a lot. Actually, anytime I'm ever lost in a song, if I'm not sure what to do, I either play the pentatonic scale of the key of the song you're in, or I just trace some of the notes out of the chords. That's just my little fallback. And I get lost a lot, so it happens quite a bit. I was probably lost when I was improvising this intro, and I just left it in there. So that's why we're starting with a chord. But there's two paths you can take. I just want to set this up. When you're playing a lead, when you grab this jam track and you start playing over it, you can either try and play the notes of the chords like we're going to do here, or you can just stay in the key of the song. You can just stay in the B minor pentatonic scale for the entire song, even though there's all those extra chords, and it's going to work. It doesn't matter which pattern, any of those patterns are going to work, but I just wanted to mention that. You can stay in the key of the song and it'll sound great. And we are going to go back into that. We are going to go into the pentatonic scale in a few spots. So the first thing I played goes like this. And here's how I'm fretting that. 2nd fret 1st string, 3rd fret 2nd string, 4th fret 3rd string. And it's a little stair step there. That's a B minor triad. Now I've done a lesson on the different voicings for the, sort of like the caged version for minor chords. I'll put that lesson number up on the screen if you want a refresher. There's really just 3 main positions for them, unlike caged, which has 5. But anyway, if you're not familiar with them, you can check that out. But for now, just know that this is a B minor triad, and here's how you can easily identify it. Let's think about our A minor chord shape. If we think of our A minor chord that you know in first position, slide that up 2 frets, you've got your capo where the nut was. You're playing a B minor chord, basically. But we're just playing the top 3 strings. We don't need that full chord. So that's where it comes from. So hopefully a light bulb went off for somebody out there, and you go, okay, cool. A minor shape, there's the triad, the minor triad on the first 3 strings. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then I went all on the first string. I'll explain where these notes are coming from in a minute, but for now it's just 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret. And then I went like this. So this is where the song goes to the E minor. Remember, we started on the 1, which is our B minor, minor 1. And then it goes to the minor 4, which is our E minor. So it starts like this, plays the B minor, then it goes to the E minor. That's where we are now in the song. And I played this over the E minor. So I've got my index finger on that 3rd fret 1st string, and then I've got my middle finger on the 4th fret 3rd string, and play 3, 1, 3, 1. Now some of you are going to go, why are you playing that over an E minor? Well, let's think back to our triads. I'm such a fan of triads because this is just a triad in my head. It's the E minor triad, and I'm playing strings 3 and 1 out of it. So this shape that I'm playing here is the same as your D minor shape. If you think of your D minor shape down in first position, if we were to slide that up 2 frets, you're playing an E minor. Or you can think of your E major chord using the D shape. You flat the 3rd, just like you do with any triad to get the minor chord. But we're not playing the full chord. I'm just playing strings 3 and 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And then after that, I went to get back to the minor 1 chord, which is our B minor. Now this little thing is an embellishment. You're just going to have to trust me on this. I'm going to skip the theory part behind sort of why it works. But anytime you're playing a minor chord, a minor triad, or even a part of a minor triad, like a harmonized 6 like this, you can slide up this direction towards the body of the guitar 2 frets and then go back. It's just a little embellishment that works. 9 times out of 10 it works. There will be some situations probably where it doesn't. But for the most part, what I'm doing is I'm sliding it up. So if you're hanging out on a chord for a while, go up and go down. It's just a fun little embellishment. If you walk away with no other ideas out of this lesson, walk away with that one. If you're hanging out on a minor chord or minor triad, you can go up 2 frets, down 2 frets. Okay, I slid up. Now, I didn't play the full chord. I was just hybrid picking the 3rd string, plucking the 1st string with my ring finger, and then back to the minor triad, the B minor triad. Okay, let me play what happens next, this little lead run. Now that sounds like a lot of notes, but it's actually just walking down the B natural minor scale. Now I can already hear the grumbles from some people going, oh no, natural minor, that means it's not just minor pentatonic scale, now we've got something else. The natural minor scale is the same as the minor pentatonic scale, it just has 2 extra notes. You can think of it that way. It's like minor pentatonic scale on steroids. It's got these 2 extra notes which can just give you more variables. So without getting too bogged down in theory, if we were to take our minor pentatonic scale, pattern 4, B minor pentatonic scale, pattern 4, and we connect it to this chord shape, That's key. And actually, I'll put a lesson up on the screen where I went through how to do this, how to connect your minor pentatonic scale patterns to chord shapes. So now we're in pattern 4 and we've connected it to this shape that makes it easier to find in the future. But we're going to add 2 notes to that. We're going to add 2 notes to convert this into our natural minor scale. There's the first note. There's the second note. I'm not going to go any further into theory than that because it'll just bog this lesson down, but this is your B natural minor scale. It's also, little hint, it's also the same as your D major scale. So if you know how to play your D major scale, you also know how to play your B natural minor scale. It's the relative minor of D major. All right, so the notes for this, we'll start on the first string here. We'll play the second string, and then we're going to go down to the second string and play 5, 3, 2. We go down to the third string and play 4, 2. And then down to the fourth string and play 5, 4, 2. So from the top then we go. And you can hear those are the notes that live within in the natural minor scale for B minor. We're just walking down the scale. And then from here I went open, D, which is our D note. And then watch this. We're going to walk up chromatically 2, 3, 4 on this fourth string. And now we're going to switch gears and go into the minor pentatonic scale, pattern 4 for B minor. I thought that was kind of fun because we're walking down the natural minor and then we're walking back up into the minor pentatonic scale. So that's the minor pentatonic scale. So 2, 4 on the third string, and then we play the third fret second string, and then we kind of resolve there on the fourth fret third string. So all together that run. And then I go up into pattern 5 of the minor pentatonic scale and play this little phrase. So that's sliding from the 5th fret second string up to the 7th fret, and then the 5th fret first string, and then you go back down, and then down to the 3rd fret on the second string, and then a hammer onto the 5th fret, and then back to the 3rd string. Let me play it again so that you can hear everything we've learned so far in context. Now the song switches to the 4 chord. We switch to the E minor chord, and I played. So that's the next thing we're going to learn. So this is still, I'm just still thinking minor pentatonic scale for B minor pentatonic scale, pattern 5. So I'm sliding from the 5th fret to the 7th fret on the second string, and then we go 5th fret, 7th fret on the first string. And then I slide with my index finger up to the 7th fret first string. Right when I hit that note, that's where the song switches to that E minor. And then I play this like. So that would be like your E natural minor scale, since we've just switched to the E. So you have the first string there on the 7th fret, and then we go. That'd be the 10th fret, second string down to the 8th fret. And then we go to the 7th fret and do a half bend release down to the 9th fret, third string. Okay, and that's really all I played in terms of scale for this E minor part. But then I played this. To get us back to the B minor. So what I'm doing here is I'm just playing E minor triad. That's the same one we started with that I just explained. Remember we just played those 2 notes out of it? We're playing it right here. So it's the same as your D minor shape. We're just playing it here on where I've got my index finger on the 3rd fret, first string. And I'm going to play 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to slide that up 2 frets. Remember I said you can slide your minor triads up 2 frets and just go back and forth? And that's what I'm doing. So it's 3, 1, 2, and then watch this. I just switched and played another voicing of the E minor chord. So this is your E minor triad using the A minor shape, just like we did for the B minor. We're playing it up here though. And then you take that up 2 frets. So it's kind of cool. It's this nice little walk up, but I'm really just playing E minor triad, or that's all I'm thinking about. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Slide that up 2 frets, 1, 2, 3, and then all the way up to the B minor triad using that D minor shape. I'm reusing these same shapes. I'm just playing them in different positions. Even though I'm still playing the same chords, this is still just a B minor. So now we've played a B minor like this, and we've played it like this. That's all we've done. Okay, so after the B minor triad up here, I play this little thing, and this is still just the natural minor scale. I know that from this triad, I can go down 1 step. That note is in the natural minor scale. It's just something I learned a long time ago. So you have, and then I come down to the A note, which is the 5th fret 1st string. And then from here, I'm just thinking minor pentatonic scale. That's all this is minor pentatonic scale, pattern 5, sliding down into pattern 4. So it's just a slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret on the 2nd string, 5th fret 1st string, we slide back down to the 5th fret 3rd fret, and then the 4th fret 3rd string. So that's pattern 5 down to pattern 4, and then from here I'm picturing that A minor shape, right? And then I went. This is kind of a cool thing. I can't remember where I got that, Mark Knopfler maybe. But you take the minor chord and you play the 4th string and the 2nd string out of it. That's all I'm doing. It's still the same chord, but I'm just using single strings there. Slide that down to the 2nd fret, open, 2nd fret 5th string. So from here, all right, well, my hope for you is that you've picked up a few nuggets of information in this first half. I'm going to actually end this part 1 video here, and we'll save the last part of the solo for the second half. If you'd like to join us for that second half and also have access to the jam track and the tablature breakdown for everything, you can get those things, again, by going to activemelody.com and look for this lesson number, which is EP444. All right, we'll see you in part 2.